You know, we've all got the choice every day, man. You want to be God or you want to be the devil. Choice is yours.
You are listening to the Esoteric Podcast, where we journey to the inside kingdom and unlock esoteric truths within. Now, here is your host, Omega, also known as Brandon Christopher.
This is the day I will make, and I will rejoice, and I will be glad in it. What is up? This is Brother Brandon, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Esoteric Podcast, where we go to the inside to find the meaning of life, where we go and examine the tablets of our hearts to see where and what is our existence. Incredible things. So today's lesson, we're going to talk about being born in exile. All right. Excuse me. So in the scriptures, all right, if we look through the Old Testament and we see all the things that men wrote about God, right? And, you know, at the end of the day, at the end of the pen, who was writing these scriptures was a man. You know, we're fallible. We're not without, you know, error. I mean, we make errors constantly and stuff. And to say that this is the undeniable word of God is just a trap that we set for ourselves. I do believe that it's inspired by the Spirit of God in many ways, but also, too, many things in there are inspired by the spirit of the devil, the exact opposite in energy frequency, right? So I'm not a big believer in the devil as in a physical entity, in the sense that, you know, he was created or it was created to destroy men or to trick us or anything like that. I do believe that the devil is a projection of energy that comes from our fears. It comes from our belief system, our darkness, our covetousness, and things of that nature. So in that scripture in the Old Testament, we see that this God is jealous, man. This God is pissed. It's like, if you don't worship me, this is going to happen. If you don't worship me, this is going to happen. You're going to get carried off to you know, Babylon. You're going to get carried off to Egypt. You're going to get carried off to Assyria. And we hear this theme constantly over and over again. And the and the people won't listen. They won't listen for anything. And so it's just a constant tug of war. God kills people because they don't, worship him correctly. And we think about that in totality. It's pretty gnarly to really sum it up that way. You know, here we are saying from one side of our mouths that God is a divine creator and his mercy endures forever and he is all loving. And then, then he's destroying people. He's destroying other people that are not Israelites, man. It's killing their women and children and stuff like that. That's not God. That's imagination of man. And that's the imagination of man molding God to our image, because humans, we do shit like that. All right? I'd like to think that the divine creator who made us all in the image of the creator would not be like that, So, but if we can esoterically start to scrutinize and crunch the proverbial numbers and find out, what is it meaning? All right. So we've all been in churches, and there's churches right now that are getting pissed off because you're not worshiping God the way they want you to worship God. And that's why there's so many different congregations and so many different, dividers in religion and faith and Christianity and whatnot. Right. So let's think about this exoterically. All right. In the scriptures, there was a remnant, and they were mainly Benjamites and Judeans that were born in Babylon. They didn't know any better. They were born in captivity. All right. Now, the story goes that they were taken off because they just would not listen to the Lord. They would not heed the Lord's advice. They would not worship God in the temple. And, they just would not acknowledge God. That's the problem. And so what happened is they got carried off to Babylon, and they were in Babylon for like 70 years. But there were people who were born in Babylon who didn't know anything about their former faith, the faith of their fathers. And so finally, when the people that came back from Babylon, they were like, hey, you know what? We're Israelites and we need to go back to the temple, and, you know, we're being allowed to leave. And so they go back and they're like, what's this? And they find the book of the law, and they're like, this is the book of the law, man. This is what our forefathers used to do, you know, before. And they're like, what? You know, what? Does this have a manual? Like, no comprende, man. I don't understand this, right? All right. Now, let's esoterically really get to the substance of that, all right? Because there's going to be people that are on just hung up on that story, like on the physical, literalist story. But really, the gold is on the inside, man. All right? All of us were born in captivity. We're born in captivity. We don't know anything about the temple because we're not taught about the subconscious mind. We're not taught about that Godhead that is living in our solar plexus. We're not taught of that. And so we have no identifying measure or benchmark to even imagine it. Right now, as you're listening, you have a subconscious mind that is dormant. There is a dusty old cloth, a big cloth, like a old car, you know, covering it up. You don't even know what's down there. You won't go down there. You know why? Because we're lazy. We're lazy. We're so into this prepared world that we mutually agreed on, the 9 to 5, birth, school, work, death, come home, veg, stare at the TV, pretend to be happy, right? And then go back to sleep, wash, rinse, and repeat. And that's the existence for probably 99% of us. But the prophets of old, man, they went and said, man, come back to the Lord, man. Come back to the Almighty. Come back to the true source, to the true power, so you can experience it, right? And this is the lament of the prophets, man. This is the lament of the ones of old, the ancient ones, right? But the story is esoteric, so you can hear this cry. See, right now, in your solar plexus, there are prophets right there, and they're saying, come back, man, come back to the temple, come back to this place that I prepared for you. I prepared a place for you here where you can worship. All right, you can worship. And when I mean worship, I don't mean falling on your hands and knees and saying, I am nothing but a worm and things like that. No, man, it means that you can feel good. You can have good vibes because you know what you're all about. You are self-aware, and this is Self-Awareness Bootcamp, right? And so this is what's happening. You were born in captivity because you have no waking knowledge of the former things of the past. You have no waking knowledge of the equipment that you possess. You don't even know that you have equipment. You don't know that you have a wireless transmitter that can attract things that you want. You don't know that you have this very powerful database that can seek out those that you desire, whether it's to do business with, whether it's to be a friendship with, whether it's to be an accountability partner. The components that you need in your life, they're there, and it can be accessed through the database, which is the subconscious mind in that solar plexus. You're not aware of it. You're in exile, man. You're in Babylon. And so in Babylon, there are 4 master teachers. The master teachers, right, are repetition, failure, time, and pain. And hopefully you're experiencing all 4 of those so that you can wake up. The only way that we're going to ever be able to save our planet is if we wake up to ourselves and understand what the Most High gave us. Stewardship of this planet, to take care of it, man. And we are just lounging around. We are caught up in this matrix that we've prepared for ourselves. This mental prison, birth, school, work, death, man. We have prepared that. Start breaking out. Start understanding that you have that power, that God is in you. That God is in you, man. That's like the most important thing. And this is the self-awareness. This is a self-awareness. So, you come back to the temple, man. Because if you don't, you're going to suffer through a lot of different things, man. You're going to suffer through depression. You're going to suffer from just a stagnant life where you feel like you're not fulfilling anything. And then your kids, you know, they're not going to be living to their potential and things like that because you're not teaching them. And there are curses that come along with not being self-aware. It's called self-sabotage. because you don't know about the programming. And once you understand about the program, you can change the program. But until then, you are attracting the beliefs that the people that came before you, your parents. You are inheriting your parents' hangups, and they are running and they're powerful, and you know nothing of them. But when you become self-aware, you say, man, there is a God. There is a God, and it's right there in my solar plexus. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to be a priest. I'm going to be a priest to that God, and I'm going to pay homage, and I am going to change the frequency of that inner temple. I'm going to change it to a positive frequency, to an attractor of light, to somebody or somebody who is a purveyor or an attractor of goodness, doing good deeds. It's so beautiful about our Creator. Our Creator made it so that it is physiologically rewarding to do something good for somebody. You get an energy boost. You get an energy reward. You get that dopamine, man, that dope. You get that from doing good. Isn't that awesome? And then when you do bad, you feel like shit. So whoever created us really was a pretty swell person for doing that. Saying, hey, look, I'll make you feel good when you do good things. I'll make you feel like shit when you don't treat your other brother correctly, when you put yourself first in front of everybody out there in the real world, right? Now, in the subconscious, in the temple, you got to put yourself first in all things, because that is God. You have to serve the God that's in you at all times, and that's just self-awareness. If you want to know how to serve God, is to keep your energy always positive. Praise yourself. Say things of substance to yourself. Understand that no goal will ever happen, no pipe dream will ever manifest unless you experience the power of the God in you. Come back. Come back. Dust off everything in the temple. All right? Pick up. Clean up. Start throwing out all the things that are not needed. Start throwing out those hang-ups like, I have to work 9 to 5. I got to pay my bills. Yeah, I get that, right? You make yourself stuck in a situation without looking outside the box. You have to look on the horizon. When you're driving down the road, don't look at the taillights in front of you. Look through the windows of that vehicle. Look through the windows of the vehicle in front of that one, and in front of the other one, and in front of the other one, so that you can see the trends. Live life on the horizon, man. Come back to God. Come back to God that is in you. That is in you. And listen, all you people who have been destroyed by religion, man, and I know religion will freaking chew you up and spit you out. I know all of that. All right? When I'm talking about God, I'm talking about the true substance. I'm talking about energy, positive energy. All right? Now, there is a devil. That's negative energy. Fear. Fear is the construct of the devil. If you want to construct the devil very, very quickly, and if you want to entrench or encourage chaos into your life, then guess what? Start thinking negatively. Always expect the worst. Always fear. And guess what? That creates dark matter. Mater. The Latin for mother. The dark mother. Yes, the dark mother. The destroyer. All right. So please, man, just be good people. You know, you hear me say God and the hair on your neck stands up, man. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's just positivity, you know, saying things that are good for you, projecting what is good, blessing other people, man, saying nice things to them. Do you know that you get an energy reward? And the more of this energy credit that you get, all right, and it builds up, the more you'll attract what is good. Come back. Wake up. You're in Babylon. You're in the black and yellow right now. You have a form of godliness, man, but you're denying its power. You're black and you're yellow. But don't fret. Black and yellow is the color of the school bus. You're learning. You have to learn. Remember the 4 master teachers: repetition, failure, time, and pain. We were all born in Babylon. Babylon is a learning tool, all right? We have to cross over. We have to cross over now. Come back to Urushalim, right? Jerusalem of your heart. Come back. come back. All right. This is Brother Brandon, Trasoteric Podcast. I hope you guys are having a marvelous existence. Man, you can always reach me. Send me a message. Please subscribe. Tell people about this podcast. Hopefully it helps. I'm telling you, if you start to do it, if you start just flexing that power of the subconscious mind and learning about it, there are so many good teachers out there. Find out what you can do, because that is the Godhead in you. All right. Brother Brandon, I am out. Have a great day.